Namaste. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Angeline, and today we're going to be doing a Yin Yoga practice for the liver and gallbladder meridians. We're going to go ahead and just get started into our practice. All we need, and these are purely optional, I like to use a blanket to sit on and maybe a couple of yoga blocks if you feel like at some point during your practice you need more support. We're going to begin with our meditation. So we're just going to sit in a simple cross-leg position where we can just kind of close our eyes, tune out the world and thoughts, emotions as much as possible. Sometimes this is almost impossible to do, but that is the practice, to be able to kind of turn that humanness off for a little bit and reconnect with our true selves. So another tool that we can use in that effort is to connect with our breath. Our breath helps bring us back to our, what I would call our divinity. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through our nose. And as we inhale through our nose, we want to fill up our belly, and then the chest will fill up. And as the chest finishes filling up, the collarbones will lift. So we're going to go ahead and inhale. And now exhale everything out through the nose, dropping those chest or the collarbones, deflating the chest, and then emptying all the air out of the belly to where you start to feel the navel coming back towards the spine as the belly empties. And we'll go ahead and continue a few more breaths like that. This breath will connect us to our practice. As you practice more with yoga, you'll find that as you move in and out of your asanas, using that breath to help with that makes it seem more of a flow. And also, as you're inhaling, you're bringing life force, energy, of course, oxygen, which are all things that the body needs to support it. And then as you exhale, you're releasing all that tension and stagnant energy and breath. So you're allowing yourself to create a space for the fresh and new, and you clean out the old and used up. Gently open our eyes, and we're going to come into our first asana, which is going to be a supported bridge. So here you have a couple options. You can use your blanket if you feel like you don't have a lot of opening in your hips, or you can use your block on top of the blanket or just your block. I think today I am going to choose the blanket and the block. So you want the top of the block and the blanket to be right at the top ledge of your sacrum. You want to bend your feet or bend your knees, bring your feet towards your glutes, lift the hips, and bring that block right underneath that sacrum. You can straighten your legs out here. And we're going to be here 2 minutes. So again, engaging in that breath, using the breath to help anchor into our asana, to help the body open and create space. And then as we exhale, we're releasing all stagnant energy and tension from our bodies. Our main focus is going to be the liver and gallbladder, but it's nice to open up the kidney meridian. That's the essence of our being. And it just supports all the other organs in our body. So it's nice to work that meridian to kind of get things, to get the energy moving and flowing. For those of you who are familiar with Ujjayi breath, the ocean sound breath, you can incorporate that into your practice. And Ujjayi breath is just a breath when you're breathing in and out through the nose. There's kind of a resonance, a sound in the back of the throat. Try not to let your feet drop out to the side or in toward one another. Try to keep them facing the ceiling. The knees are definitely facing the ceiling or reaching towards the ceiling. Maybe a better way to describe that. Slowly bending one foot at a time back towards the glutes. We're going to inhale and lift those hips. Remove the blanket and the block. And then we're just going to bring those knees together, feet wide, and just take a couple breaths here. Slowly bring yourself onto your belly, and we're going to come into our Sphinx pose. So lay down on the belly. You want those feet to be as wide as your mat. We're going to be here 2 minutes. You're going to take the elbows right underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest up, and then allow it to go forward. So you get a nice deep back bend. If this feels like it's too much for you, you can walk your elbows forward, and that will help you come down a bit so that back bend is not so deep. You want the hips and the legs to be relaxed. So take a nice deep inhale through the nose, tightening up the muscles in the glutes and the legs, and then as you exhale, release everything. You can imagine a string from the top of your head being pulled up towards the ceiling. And just imagine it as a line of energy. You're not really trying to engage the muscles too much and force them to move you in any way. You're allowing the structure of the asana to kind of hold you into place, which allows you to put stress on your connective tissue, which is the tissue we're focusing on, to help create that change, to help it to become stronger, flexible, make it more hydrated, or help support its ability to remain hydrated. Of course, you need to drink water, but as everything in your body, as the energy flows easily and freely, it helps support all the systems in your body. We're basically coming into a transition, so you want to release out of that sphinx. Cross your hands and place them on top of each other, and then just rock your hips back and forth to help loosen things up in the low back. We're going to lift up, and we're going to come into our next pose, which is going to be swan. So you want to be on your hands and knees. The hands are right underneath your shoulders, the knees are right under your hips. We're going to bring that right knee to the right wrist. Walk that right foot towards the left wrist. It does not have to touch. If you have a perpendicular alignment with that calf to the front of your mat, that's perfect. If not, you can have that angle, about a 45-degree angle. That will help support your knee if you have any knee issues. Take that blanket out of the way so you can kind of see the setup. If you feel like you need some support under that right hip, you can take a block and place it under there. You can also use that blanket. You could roll onto that right hip if that feels good for you. We're just going to come up into a full swan for about 2 minutes. Really letting those hips sink down towards the floor. You want your hips to be squared, and then just engage in that breathing in and out through your nose. That 3-part breath, filling up the belly, chest, lifting the collarbones. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. So go ahead and tuck the toes on that left foot. Bring that right leg back to meet that left foot, tucking the toes on that right foot. And then we're just going to press up, lifting the hips towards the ceiling. You can walk your dog here if you want, pedaling your feet, left then right or right then left, whichever one you want to do first. And then go ahead and press both heels towards the floor and take about 2 breaths here. We're going to come down into a shoelace. So I like to use my blanket for my shoelace poses. The easiest way for me to set up in shoelace is to take the left. We're going to have the left on top. So this time we're going to start with the left. Bring it in front of that right knee. Line up the right knee. Take those feet out to the side, and then you're just going to sit back onto that blanket. And as much as you can, you want the hips to be level. So both of the sitting bones are going to be on that blanket as level and as balanced as possible. We're going to inhale, lift through our spine. And then exhale and fold forward. And again, in yin, you don't go to your full max. You want to just go to where you start to feel sensation. And as you breathe in and out through your nose, the 3-part breath, letting your body acclimate, filling up, creating space. And then as you exhale, you're releasing all the tension, all restriction, all stagnation, and used up energy out of your body. And you're allowing yourself to go deeper into the pose as your body releases. If this is too challenging for you, the bottom leg can stay straight, and then you can just cross that top leg over that bottom leg, and then again, you just want to try to line up the knees as much as you can. Again, this is not a challenge or a competition to see how perfectly aligned you can be in your asana. If you're not there when you begin, that just shows you that you have work, and that gives you a baseline. So just become aware of where you're at, don't judge it, and then just as you practice every day, just see how much more closer to your goal you get and how much further away from that baseline you get. So you can just kind of keep like a gauge for yourself. Again, it's not a competition. You're not trying to not even do better than you normally do. Just work with your body where you're at and get it to where you want it to be. We're going to come out of that pose and we're going to lean back onto our hands and come into a windshield wiper. Again, taking a transitioning pose after your yin asana. Just again helps your body, supports your body, and moving that energy and the blood flow, assisting it to kind of do what it needs to do. We're going to come to the other side for our swan. So again, coming onto those hands and knees, you're going to bring that left knee towards the left wrist, walk that left foot towards the right hand, slide that right leg straight back, again keeping those hips level. And then you're just going to allow the hips drop towards the floor, opening the space in the front of the right leg, kind of stretching the back of the left glute and hamstring. You get a little arch in the low back. So you're stretching the abdomen and the meridians that run through your abdomen, like stomach, liver, kidney. Trying to make sure I remember them all. And then that compression helps to, again, you're creating that stress. So this is going to help affect the kidneys, like the actual organs. I always like to, anytime there's like some compression in the low back, I feel like it's helping to shut down the adrenals, kind of squeezing out any toxins or buildup of whatever, if it's stagnant energy, congested energy in that space. When you take that pressure off, it opens that space, and then blood and energy flows through and pushes out the rest of that stagnation. So again, you can come up on your cupcake fingers. You're going to be in a full swan here. Allowing the opening in the hips as they kind of sink towards your mat. And then we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. So tuck the toes on that right foot, slide that left leg back, meeting the feet. with one another, tucking the toes on both feet, pressing up into your down dog. You want your hands to be forward about 6 inches further out from your head. And then here we can just walk our dogs, paddling our feet, getting a nice stretch in those calves, opening up the hamstrings, and then we're going to press both heels towards the floor. Take about 2 breaths. And then we're going to come down and come into our shoelace on the other side. So we're going to take the right leg in front this time. Again, both those feet are out to the sides. You're going to sit back onto your blanket. I like the front edge of the blanket to come to where that gluteal fold is. That's where the glutes and the hamstrings meet. It's that little crease back there. You're going to inhale, elongate through your spine. Exhale, walk those hands forward. And remember, at this bottom leg, if you can't get into this full expression of shoelace, keep that bottom leg straight. I did create a mantra for this practice, but I did not mention it earlier. But if you want to have a mantra for your practice, the mantra that I made for this practice is, I trust myself with my life's decisions. So I feel, especially during the time that we're in now, 2020, being faced with all the challenges, all the changes, all the advancements, as much as we're progressing and making our lives simpler, nature, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is kind of doing its thing to balance. If life was too easy, right, there would be no purpose to be here, because we did not come here to just exist. And when life is too easy or perfect or comfortable, that's really all we're kind of doing. We're just existing. We're going to come out of this pose before I continue. So we're going to lift up, bring those feet forward, lean back onto your hands, and then we're going to bring those feet into our legs into our windshield wiper pose. So contrast or difficulties, problems, creates an environment where we're expanding even more, because we want to solve those problems. We want to balance that contrast, right? We want to find balance. That's what the yin and yang is. It's always this constant flowing to keep things in a balanced state. So not too much of one thing or too much of another. We're coming into straddle. So again, before I continue, let's go ahead and set up into our asana. So we're going to come into straddle, and then we're going to go over the right leg. So twist at your hip, bringing the chest forward towards the foot. You're going to fold towards that foot, bringing the chest as close to going over the knee as much as you possibly can. And then just come to your appropriate edge and just sit here until your body opens and you can go into it deeper. So with the way we are now, we've done a great job of making life more simple and easy on one hand, but then we're dealing with a virus that is a natural kind of phenomenon that is, no matter how smart or how creative or comfortable we are, this is this thing that can kind of come in and undermine all that. And it's, again, creating that fear. So I feel like where we are now is we're on that leading edge. We're in the future. We're, for those people from the 80s, I'm an 80s kid, and we always imagine what would the future be like. You know, you see in our movies our ideas of what that would be, and some of it came true, and some of it was not even close to the mark, right? But we basically are here now, and we have to, I think, deal with fear. Fear is the main thing that I think as humans is always an issue, always something to be addressed, because it, you know, it's a very necessary emotion. It's very smart to have fear. So it's not like we're trying to get away from fear per se. We're going to switch to the other side. So twist at your hips, or I'm sorry, at your waist. And then you're going to fold over that left leg, again, trying to bring your chest over that knee. But you want to, again, find that balance where you have just enough fear to keep you from doing too crazy of things or being too crazy in your approach to life. But you want to be able to forge forward. Again, like when COVID first happened, like many people, it was like, what is happening? What's going on? And I kind of stayed home, and I ended up watching all the episodes of Little House on the Prairie. And that really, I felt like, gave me some insight as to, you know, when people have that inner drive and we're being kind of pushed by something beyond us to evolve and to grow and to make life better. All those uncertainties definitely are overwhelming and can cause you to be fearful, but you have to work with that, and you just have to forge forward and do the best that you can, and to do things in a manner that seems to be right, like a right approach. And that's not like a moral judgment, kind of what's right and wrong, but like what progresses us as a species, what progresses us as not only the individual, but the whole as well. And to continue to grow and evolve and educate ourselves and share that information with others to find our way in this existence on Earth. So part of that is to be able to kind of have ideas and make decisions for your life that will, again, support that forging forward. We're going to go just straight down now. And sometimes if we have too much fear, no matter how strong that drive is for this, like, what's the next move, if we're so fearful that we can't move, we're creating an imbalance, a disturbance. And that can be more detrimental than if you just go with the decision, do the best you can, and let it play out. And even if it doesn't work exactly how you want it to work or how you imagine it would work, you're testing the waters. You're learning where you kind of fit into the puzzle and what works for you. And as you do that, you are going to be kind of an example or be a influence for other people who resonate with you. Not everyone will. And that, again, is a part of this evolution process, being able to live your life, make decisions that you feel are the best for you, navigating through life and all that it throws at you, and then finding people along the way who benefit from your experiences. And also, you will be one of those people who come across someone who you will benefit from their experiences, from them sharing their trials and tribulations. So even if you don't become the expert or we're going to come up and come out of this pose. So you can take your hands and grab behind your knees and bend them. Bring your feet forward, and we're just going to come into that windshield wiper. You will be, to some people, you will seem like a master or an expert, and just help them if there's small steps. That can be your purpose, and that's enough. You don't have to be everything for everyone. That's a lot of pressure I feel like some of us put on ourselves that does not serve anyone, including yourself. So we're going to come onto our backs. We're going to go into a banana pose. Banana-nasana. I cannot really ever say that word. So it's much easier to just say banana pose. So here, we're going to lay on our backs. You can take your feet as wide as your mat. Take that left leg and then place the left ankle over the right. Scoot the upper body towards the right. So here you kind of create that little banana shape. We're going to bring the arms up overhead. Grab the back of the left wrist with the right hand. Have those arms straight up. That left arm is especially straight. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring that left arm over to the right, allowing both shoulder blades to stay on the floor. Both glutes are on the floor. And breathing in and out through the nose. So gallbladder is the decision maker, and then liver is the executor of those decisions. So that's why I picked these meridians. So with that little story or explanation of kind of where I'm at and what I feel is a theme that's coming up for me during these times. That's why I picked these meridians today. Just trying to help support myself in not feeling frozen because of all the information that's out there, and some of the misinformation or lack of information. It's like I have to just be where I'm at and allow myself to make the best decisions that I can for the time that I'm at, where I'm at in this space and time. And then allow myself to learn. If it does not work out, if it's not the right thing, I won't know that until I try. So we're going to shift the upper body back into the middle. And then you want to bring the knees together, walk those feet wide, and we're going to take a few breaths here. And hopefully, if you're watching this video, if you relate, I've helped you maybe find a way to try to find some comfort in that not knowing, but yet knowing that you have to make decisions, you have to do something. We're going to come into a double knee twist. So I want you to bend your knees, push through the heels, and shift the hips to the left. Inhale, bring those knees towards your chest. Exhale, drop your knees towards the right. As you inhale again, lift your head and look over the left. And then we'll just continue our breath, breathing in through the nose, filling up the belly, chest, lifting the collarbones. And then exhaling everything out. If you feel like you want to place your right hand on the outside of the left knee, go ahead and do that. If not, you can just keep your arms in that T shape. You could actually bring your arms up into a Y as well, if that feels good to you. If anyone wants to expand on what I was discussing here today, please feel free to leave me a comment. I will interact with you. We're just about finished with our practice. We have the two asanas we just did on this side, we're going to do on the other side, and then we'll go into our shavasana. We're going to release that hold on the outside of the knee if you have it there. Inhale, bring your head back to the middle, engage your core, lifting those knees back into the center. Put your feet down on the mat, shift those hips down, and we're just going to bring the knees together, walk the feet wide, and just take a few breaths here. We're just going to set up on the other side. I want to switch my angles for everyone. So we're going to do that banana pose again. We're going to do the right side this time. So bring that right leg on top of the left ankles. The right ankle's on top of the left. You're going to shift the upper body towards the left, keeping both of your shoulder blades on the floor and both hips on the floor. Bring the arms up straight overhead. Grab with the back of that right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, lift, exhale, and then bring that right arm towards the left. We're just about there. We're going to release the hold on the hands. Shift the upper body back to the center and clasp those ankles. Let's just lay here for a couple breaths. Feeling that energy shift and move through the body. You may experience it as a warm, tingling sensation, or it may feel like cold water running through your body. We're going to bend those knees, bring those arms out into that T shape. Lift through the hips and shift them to the right. Inhale, bring in your knees to the chest. Exhale, drop those knees over to the left. Inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, look over that right shoulder. And we're just going to be here about 2 minutes. TWO, 2. Release the hand from the outside of that right knee. Inhale, bring your head back to center. Engage your core. Bringing those knees back to the middle. And then shifting the hips back down the center. Bend those knees, bringing them together. Walk the feet wide. Just take a few breaths here. Let's go ahead and set up for our Shavasana. So you're going to walk those heels out to the corners of your mat. Roll those shoulder blades down your back and toward one another. If you need some length in your back of your neck, you lift your head up, look at your feet, and then lay your head back down. And then we're just going to relax into the support of the floor, of the ground. Allow the energy to shift and move through our body, giving ourselves time to assimilate and process everything we just did in our practice today. Again, repeating that mantra, I trust my ability to make decisions in my life. You can stay here for the time that we have, or you can stay in your Shavasana a little longer. But before we come out, I want to share this little insert from this book I really have been appreciating lately. Is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. Remind yourself that when you die, your in basket won't be empty. So many of us live our lives as if the secret purpose is to somehow get everything done. We stay up late, we get up early, avoid having fun, and keep our loved ones waiting. Sadly, I've seen many people who put off their loved ones so long that the loved ones lose interest in maintaining the relationship. I used to do this myself often. We convince ourselves that our obsession with our to-do list is only temporary, that once we get through the list, we'll be calm, relaxed, and happy. But in reality, this rarely happens. As items are checked off, new ones simply replace them. The nature of your in basket is that it's meant to have items to be completed in it. It's not meant to be empty. There will always be phone calls that need to be made, projects to complete, and work to be done. In fact, it can be argued that a full in basket is essential for success. It means your time is in demand. Regardless of who you are and what you do, however, remember that nothing is more important than your own sense of happiness and inner peace, and that of your loved ones. If you're obsessed with getting everything done, you'll never have a sense of well-being. In reality, almost everything can wait. Very little in our work lives truly falls into the emergency category. If you stay focused on your work, it will all get done in due time. I will find that if I remind myself frequently that the purpose of life isn't to get it all done, but to enjoy each step along the way and live a life full of love, it's far easier for me to control my obsession with completing my list of things to do. Remember, when you die, there will always still be unfinished business to take care of. And you know what? Someone else will do it for you. Don't waste any more precious moments of your life regretting the inevitable. If this is all the time you have, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back into our bodies, wiggling our fingers and our toes. Bring our feet together, arms up overhead. Inhale and stretch through the whole length of your body. And as you exhale, roll over to whichever side feels most comfortable for you. And let's take a few moments here, taking a few breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and push yourself back up into a seated position. Let's take a nice deep inhale together, and let's seal the energy with the chant of the mantra Om. Inhale. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Inhale. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts on Angeline Mudra. Bow, tipping our head towards our fingertips, and make that connection, connecting the heart with our minds. Peace and namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me today in this practice, and I hope you appreciated it and benefit from it as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, like on this video or any other of my videos, and leave me a comment if you want to discuss more about the things I brought up in this video today. Again, I like to make this interactive experience as much as possible, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.